I was chaos, too loud, too bright, too alive. Rooms dimmed when I entered. My laughter broke walls. My movements spilled over edges. He watched quietly, beige, calm, ordered, like a lock in the middle of my storm. I thought safety meant protection. I was wrong. Chains don't rattle, they wait. And I was about to strike. I was chaos, noise, color spilling into rooms made for beige. My laughter echoed too loud, my movements too fast. People warned me I was too much. I never listened, I never slowed. I painted walls with my energy, left fingerprints on furniture, left traces in people's thoughts. He watched quietly, beige, ordered, calm, like a lock in the middle of my storm. I mistook calm for safety. I didn't see chains. He never raised his voice. He didn't need to. Silence can bind tighter than screams. I thought I anchored him. I thought safety meant protection. But safety can suffocate. Every time I moved, he adjusted. Every sentence I spoke, he summarized. Every chaotic gesture I made, he contained. I began to shrink without noticing. My colors dimmed under his eyes. My noise quieted. My pulse slowed to match his schedule. I counted seconds between my laughter and his sighs. He called it balance. I called it survival. I didn't fight. I waited, quietly, observing, calculating. Because chaos never disappears. It waits for the right moment to strike. He never chased me. He didn't need to. I arrived chaotic, alive, loud. He observed, calm, neutral, like a stone in a river of fire. I mistook stillness for stability. I mistook order for trust. He remembered everything. Birthdays I forgot, secrets I buried, scars I never showed. He cataloged me, quietly, efficiently, like a system noting flaws. I spoke, he summarized. I laughed, he paused. I existed, he contained. Every glance measured, every gesture noted. I shrank without realizing. Silence became obedience. Calm became control. I stopped spilling over. I stopped coloring rooms. I stopped moving fast. I spoke in bullet points. I apologized before speaking. I edited chaos into neat lines. I believed it was love. I believed it was care. But care doesn't measure every heartbeat. Chains are invisible when they feel like patience. I counted my own restraints, each breath calculated, each pause rehearsed. I tested my freedom. He never noticed. He never needed to. I waited, learning, observing, planning. Because the moment I finally exploded, he wouldn't see it coming. I began to shrink, slowly, quietly. Colors faded from my wardrobe. Loud laughter became whispers. Stories I loved telling shortened, clipped, rehearsed. Every movement measured. Every word weighed. Chaos became a secret. He never commanded. He never yelled. He didn't need to. The rules were invisible, internalized, etched into my bones. I adjusted my energy to his calm, my pulse to his pace, my voice to his quiet. I learned to fold myself small, almost invisible. I apologized before mistakes. I predicted discomfort and corrected it preemptively. I stopped arguing. I stopped overflowing. I stopped existing fully. I counted pauses between his words, studied his silences, navigated his neutral expressions. Friends noticed my dimming light. Family noticed I laughed less. He noticed, smiled, approved. Every time I complied, the room felt safer. Every time I shrank, he reinforced control. I thought this was love. I thought balance meant survival. But survival under chains is not freedom. And chaos, my chaos, was not gone. It waited, patient, hidden, calculating. For the moment I would strike back, and I knew I would. Schedules replaced spontaneity. Rituals became prisons disguised as comfort. I woke, dressed, moved, spoke according to invisible rules. Every gesture measured, every step predicted. Chaos became silent, carefully hidden. He never told me the rules. He didn't need to. I learned them by observing, by counting, by shrinking. Emails timed, meals prepared on schedule, conversations scripted. I walked through my own life like a ghost, ghosting myself. Even laughter became deliberate. Patterns formed chains, each day repeated. I noticed the small betrayals first, glances he thought I missed, messages deleted, subtle touches she shared. Childhood friend. She knew me. She knew every scar, every secret, every insecurity. And he exploited it. I watched without acting. I cataloged, recorded, memorized. My heart pulsed quietly, each beat a countdown. Micro hits landed silently, moments of betrayal, micro tremors I stored like ammunition. He controlled routine, I controlled observation. I was patient, waiting for the fracture, the crack, the precise moment to detonate. Every rule he created became a tool, every habit a weapon. I was chaos folded neatly, waiting for the perfect explosion. He cheated. Childhood friend. She knew my scars, my weaknesses, every broken piece I hid. He smiled at her like he never smiled at me. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I counted. I cataloged. Evidence stacked silently in my mind. Texts deleted, meetings hidden, whispers behind closed doors. Each detail a micro hit, stabbing, precise. I imagined their laughter, felt the weight of their secret. He thought it was harmless. He thought I wouldn't notice. He was wrong. Every memory of his calm, beige self twisted into contempt. I waited, observing, calculating. Every step I had ever shrunk for now fed me. Every controlled breath became fuel. I plotted with precision, no chaos wasted, no energy spent on futile rage. He gave me his patterns. She gave me her presence. Together, they delivered every opportunity for revenge. I didn't act yet. I let the anger simmer. I let the anticipation sharpen. Every second, every micro moment was mine. He thought he could break me quietly. He thought he had control. He had handed me the weapon. I watched silently, collected details, emails, receipts, subtle slips he thought I missed. Each piece a thread, each thread a trap. I cataloged his movements, her presence, his complacency. Timing became weapon, precision became shield. Every meeting he scheduled, every call he hid, every glance she thought private, I memorized. I traced patterns like a map to destruction. Micro hits pulsed in my mind. The way he leaned in too close, the way she laughed knowing secrets. I didn't speak. I didn't act. I observed. I waited. Each heartbeat sharpened my edge. I planned sequences. Who would see what, when, how. The office, the clients, the social circle. The smallest slip would trigger dominoes. Every controlled habit he built became my instrument. I rehearsed in silence, exposure, timing, reactions, my chaos, folded neatly, now precise. I waited for perfect alignment. I imagined him realizing too late. I imagined the public fracture. I imagined her silence shattered, and me, finally, fully, alive, untamed, uncontrollable. He thought he was safe. He wasn't, and I would make sure everyone saw it. I chose the day carefully, a meeting he couldn't miss, a room full of order, suits, confidence, routine, his kingdom. I didn't rush. I placed evidence gently, like decorations, emails printed, timelines aligned, screens mirrored. I spoke calmly, soft voice, no emotion wasted. Every sentence landed like a blade, micro hit after micro hit. Pauses did the damage, eyes shifted, breaths changed. His smile froze. I watched it crack. Someone asked a question. I answered with facts. Another asked. I showed timestamps. The room turned cold. Reputation began to bleed quietly. I never raised my voice. I never looked at him. He tried to interrupt. I continued. Control slipped from his hands in real time. Patterns betrayed him. Rules exposed him. His system collapsed under its own weight. She wasn't there. She didn't need to be. Her role was already finished. I ended with silence. Let it stretch. Let it burn. Then I left. Calm, centered, complete. Chaos walking away in perfect control. They thought it was over. It wasn't. I came back with one file. Thicker. He went pale before I spoke. Numbers don't lie, they just wait. I exposed side accounts, quiet transfers, favors traded for silence, policies bent, ethics trimmed, order used as camouflage. Each page landed harder than the last. I watched faces change, trust rot in real time. Someone whispered his name, not kindly. He tried to explain. I didn't let him. Facts don't need permission. I let the room read him instead. His control turned against him. His rules became evidence. Every shortcut surfaced. Every small exception multiplied. The system he worshipped devoured him. I stayed still. I stayed sharp. No anger, no tears. Just precision. I didn't accuse. I revealed. That was worse. When it ended, no one looked at him. They looked at the table, at the papers, at the truth. I closed the folder. Soft sound. Final. I nodded once and walked out. The office emptied. I walked through halls I had once shrunk in. Silence followed me like applause. Colors returned to my wardrobe. Chaos returned to my steps. Every laugh now measured only by me. I moved fast again. I filled rooms with noise, energy, life I had stored for this moment. He was gone. His system collapsed, his orders meaningless. People whispered. Eyes followed me. Some feared me. Some admired me. I didn't care. I cared only for myself. The friend vanished. She had no place in the aftermath. The weight I carried for months lifted in one explosive sweep. My voice returned. My pulse returned. My decisions belonged to me again. I didn't apologize. I didn't explain. I existed fully. The world adjusted to me, not the other way around. I was too much again, alive again, unstoppable again. I waited for no one. I answered to no one. Chaos had returned, and this time it was mine entirely. He thought he could replace me quietly. Thought chaos could be contained. Thought silence meant control. He underestimated me. Every plan he made, every rule he set, every calculation he trusted, crumbled. I stood where he once ruled, unshaken, unbroken. My presence filled the room like stormlight. No apology needed, no explanation required. People remembered every misstep he tried to hide, every secret he thought safe. I didn't need witnesses. The truth carried itself. She disappeared, erased from the equation. His face told me everything: shock, fear, disbelief. I smiled briefly, because he knew he had lost more than I had ever lost. My voice, my chaos, my life, reclaimed fully, entirely. I moved forward, untouchable, untamed. My laughter returned louder than ever. Every step echoed freedom. Every word became micro-hit in the world that had once caged me. He thought he would erase me quietly. He failed, completely. And I left behind a trail he and everyone else could never forget. I was too much. I was chaos. I was alive. And I was unforgettable.